All right, from the sublime to, the not so sublime. What makes a bad guy tick? How do criminals cover up their work? How do you explain an unimaginable act of violence?
Yeah, there's a new podcast called Twisted Minds, and it's answering these questions and more about some of Australia's most horrific offenders. Forensic criminologist Dr. Claire Ferguson features on the next episode, and we're delighted to say she joins us this morning. Dr. Ferguson, thanks for coming on the show. Now, you investigate cases where murders have been concealed as something else or disguised as like suicide or missing person or something. How do you know to reevaluate the evidence?
In these cases, thanks for having me, guys.
Pleasure.
In these cases, context is really everything. So anything can be used to conceal a murder. But usually the things that we look for in terms of red flags are things like witness statements not matching the physical evidence, or the physical evidence not matching the crime type more generally. So, for example, what looks like a homicide that happened in a home invasion where there's no valuables missing, for example. And the family can be really important in these cases too, to tell us that, you know, a suicide probably wasn't likely to have happened, or an accidental death doesn't make sense for the victim's habits and personality.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You get a sense when things don't add up, and you speak about your time working on the Alison Baden-Clay case. Australia was absolutely gripped by that case. And what was so suspicious about the initial story given by her husband?
I should say that the Queensland Police did an exceptional job on that case. I wasn't involved in the investigation, but I've examined the case for research after the fact so we can learn more about discovering these types of offenses and what was done so well in that case by police. The thing that didn't pass the smell test in that one was that everything was geared towards Jared Baden-Clay looking like the really concerned dad and a good husband. And the story tended to malign Alison a little bit right from the get-go, which didn't sit right for investigators. It was a bit cold the way he was talking about how Alison had gone missing, supposedly. And then also, of course, the shaving injuries, the supposed shaving injuries. We know that that's not generally what a shaving injury looks like. So investigators were really good to say, look, I think we should start a major investigation straight away and get the ball rolling.
Yeah, it's amazing. She definitely helped lead to his conviction by leaving that mark on him, didn't she?
You know, we saw in that case and others, you know, you tell one fib and you've got to tell 1,000 more to cover up the first. I mean, how do you explain that behaviour? Or is it just as simple as he didn't want to get caught?
Well, of course, nobody wants to get caught. But I think in this case, it was more the detection avoidance behaviors that he used weren't just about not getting caught. They were also about being able to control how Alison was perceived in death as well as in her life. So this idea that she had just kind of disappeared and deserted the family while he was at home getting the kids' lunches ready and all of those things really made him, like I said, that great dad and good husband who was concerned about her while she was just off sort of gallivanting. I think that was really important to him. And also, I mean, the homicide in general was really important because the whole facade around who he was about to crumble. And so he had to take drastic action to make sure that he didn't look bad publicly, I guess, in terms of getting a divorce or having his affair uncovered publicly.
Yes, it was fascinating. And I know that you've got a lot of other fascinating cases on the pod, and thank you for coming on the show to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
You can hear Dr. Claire Ferguson on News Corp's podcast Twisted Minds, which is available from tomorrow.